you hear that this is the era of environment or biology or information technology. Well, it's the era of a lot of different things that we're in right now. But one thing for sure, it's the era of change. There's more change going on than ever has occurred in the history of human life on Earth. And you all sort of know it, but it's hard to get it so that you really understand it. And I've tried to put together something that's a good start for this. I've tried to show in this, though the color doesn't come out, what I'm concerned with is the little 50-year time bubble that you are in. You tend to be interested in a generation past, a generation future, your parents, your kids, things you can change over the next few decades. And this 50-year time bubble you kind of move along in. And in that 50 years, if you look at the population curve, you find population of humans on the Earth more than doubles. And we're up 3.5 times since I was born. And when you have a new baby, by the time that kid gets out of high school, more people will be added than existed on Earth when I was born. This is unprecedented, and it's big. Where it goes in the future is question. So that's the human part. Now, human related to animals, look at the left side of that, what I call the human portion, humans and their livestock and pets, versus the natural portion, all the other wild animals. And just these are vertebrates, all the mice, giraffes, the birds that are in land and air, not in the water. How does it balance? Well, certainly 10,000 years ago, civilization was beginning, the human portion was less than 1/10 of 1%. Let's look at it now. You follow this curve and you see the whitish spot in the middle. That's your 50-year time bubble. Humans, livestock, and pets are now 97% of that integrated total mass on Earth, and all wild nature is 3%. We have won. The next generation doesn't even have to worry about this game. It is over. And the biggest problem came the last 25 years. We went from 25% up to that 97%. And this really is a sobering picture, and you begin realizing we humans are in charge of life on Earth. We're like the capricious gods of old Greek myth, kind of playing with life, and not a great deal of wisdom injected into it. Now, third curve is information technology. This is Moore's law plotted here, which relates to density of information, but has been pretty good for showing a lot of other things about information technology, computers, their use, internet, etc. And what's important is it just goes straight up through the top of the curve and has no real limits to it. Now, to try and contrast these, this is the size of the Earth going through that same frame. And to make it really clear, I've put all four on one graph. There's no need to see little detailed words on it. That first one is humans versus nature. We've won. There's no more game. Human population. And so if you're looking for growth industries to get into, that's not a good one, protecting natural creatures. Human population is going up, is going to continue for quite a while. Good business in obstetricians, morticians, and farming, housing, etc. It all deals with human bodies, which require being fed, transported, housed, and so on. And the information technology, which connects to our brains, has no limit. Now that is a wonderful field to be in. You're looking for a growth opportunity. It's just growing up through the roof. And then size of the Earth, somehow making these all compatible with the Earth looks like a pretty bad industry to be involved with. So that sets the stage. Out of all this, I find, for reasons I don't understand, I really do have a goal, and the goal is that the world be desirable and sustainable when my kids reach my age. And I think that's, in other words, the next generation, I think that's a goal that you probably all share. I think it's a hopeless goal. Technologically, it's achievable. Economically, it's achievable. Politically, which means sort of the habits, the institutions of people, it's impossible. The institutions of the past, with all their inertia, are just irrelevant for the future, except they are there, and we have to deal with them. I spend about 15% of my time trying to save the world, the other 85% the usual hedonism or whatever else we devote ourselves to. And in that 15%, the main focus is on human mind, thinking skills, somehow trying to unleash kids from the straitjacket of schools, which is putting information and dogma into them, get them so they really think, ask tough questions, argue about serious subjects, don't believe everything that's in the book, think broadly, are creative. They can be. Our school systems are very flawed and do not reward you for the things that are important in life or for the survival of civilization. They reward you for a lot of learning and sopping up stuff. We can't go into that today because there isn't time. It's a broad subject. One thing for sure in the future, there is an essential feature, a necessary but not sufficient aspect, which is doing more with less. We've got to be doing things with more efficiency, using less energy, less material. Your great-great-grandparents got by on muscle power, and yet we all think there's this huge power that's essential for our lifestyle. And with all the wonderful technology we have, we can do things that are much more efficient, conserve, recycle, etc. Let me just rush through very quickly things that we've done. Human-powered airplane, Gossamer Condor, sort of started me in this direction in 1976 and 77, winning largest prize in aviation history, followed by the Albatross, and we began making various odd planes and creatures. Here's a giant flying replica of a pterosaur that has no tail, like trying